the best team.
My focus right now is my daughter. I mean, say no, I'm gonna say no.
I'm asking you to use your imagination.
For base layers, yep. Right now I'm wearing an icebreaker 200 weight, 100% merino wool base layer. Actually, a 260 weight icebreaker base layer on my legs. Underneath there, I have a pant base layer on. So yep, I'm all base layered up. Feels good, man. Makes a huge difference. All your base layers are belong to us. What? Did you ever search for love? Probably. Probably. My lifestyle isn't conducive to a long-term relationship right now. I talk about this on stream semi-regularly. About how I travel full-time, solo. It doesn't lead to a healthy relationship. You should hitchhike space. We're working on it. Elon Musk hit me up. I have to look at icebreaker. Mine are only 150. As far as the fabric weight, like grams per meter squared. Icebreaker's lightweight is 150. 200s are mid. 260s are heavy. Or they might give them a different name, but there's three kind of tiers. I think some of their stuff's 100 or something like that too. Walked at minus 45 Celsius in Alberta before. Yeah, cool. I've been in walking outside with wind chill. It's been, I think, low minus 40s, like minus 47, minus 48. I was in a Nunavik. At the same time, it was minus 54 with the wind chill in Tuktoyaktuk. It's right up on the coast and the ocean up there. So just higher wind chill. I just keep telling you I'm single, but you ignore me. Send all applications to my Discord. Whether you're a guy or a girl, just send me your application. Including a headshot. Both heads. If there are two. Rohan. I've never heard of that brand before. Rohan? 150 Superfan Merino bottom, 200 top. Yeah, I'm at 200 top, 260 bottoms. Eaten pie. Haven't seen it for a while. Where do you go to the washroom? I could go to the washroom there. I could go to the washroom there. I could go to the washroom over there. I'm in a town. I'm in civilization. I don't understand how people, they really struggle to understand how I go to the washroom. There's washrooms all over here.
Oh, hi everyone. Good morning. How's it going? Welcome to another epi. Hi, Vune. You're not missing today? Yes. Locked and loaded. I am well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I had a pretty good sleep. When you wake up before your alarm and you don't feel tired, that's a good thing. Pretty impressed with that. Hey Steve, welcome in, man. How's it going in the Saskatchewan? Okay, so starting the stream a little bit early today. So Sammy has to go to work today. I know, guys, sad times, but someone at his work quit, so he has to pick up a couple shifts the next 2 days. So no girl stream today, sadly. And then tomorrow, we're not going to end up being able to go for lunch either. Is for me to be able to drive and like talk to you guys the whole time, not a thing. So we'll postpone our little city adventure, but we're still going to be making ramen for dinner tomorrow night. Yeah, something like that exists? Get out of here. So first thing we're going to do on stream today is make Sammy a little bit of breakfast. So I'm going to show you guys what our weekday breakfast consists of, and it is just a smoothie. But we're going to make it together, and then we can get started, kind of move into lunch stuff. We also get to try some of the cold brew that we made yesterday with the coffee that Indognito sent us. So that's going to be exciting. And other than that, pretty chill day. Maybe get into some of this Meyer lemon vinegar that's been up in the fermentation cabinet. Let's see. Maybe I should just get it out now so I don't forget about it. But it's looking interesting. So I'm just gonna keep that out. We can deal with that accordingly later. And then before we do that, I want to actually read up in the Noma fermentation book about vinegars. Since this is my first time, or I guess second time since I did the apple cider. So second time kind of fooling around with a vinegar. Indog's package was coffee. Yeah, so much did happen yesterday on stream. It was crazy. Thankfully, I don't get too overwhelmed by that anymore though. Okay, just had to grab this, put it with our vin so that we have to do it. You're not bad, Steve. -10 with snow today. That's actually not bad. It's true. I remember being quite content with -10 when I lived in Alberta. Okay, let's get into the smoothie. So this is gonna be Sammy's breakfast and probably like my dinner later. Smoothie for dinner, no problem. So, big old blender top. This is actually gonna be perfect. Be able to see everything that goes in here. Hey Anchovy, welcome. How are you? The cancer is gone at work. So I'm gonna start to get ingredients out. We got some coconut water. Get ready for the health. This is the most health you've ever seen on this stream. Organic Greek yogurt. That container was a little empty. Cucumber. You're like, this is going in a smoothie? Spinach. Get ready, guys. Madness, I tell ya. And I think that's it from the fridge. Next up, finally get to use the peanut butter jar off the wall that you guys always get to stare at. And she's looking a little empty there. Might have to break into a new one. Just finished dinner. Wow. We're making breakfast. View just finished dinner. Chinese style noodles with fried chicken and veggies. Yum. It was nom. Sammy's doing stuff. Why doing?
The mic was in the photo.
Oh,
It was.
but my frame is there. It was still in it?
Yeah, but it was sitting when it was in your small window. You
Oh,
see it.
okay. For some reason, when you read the title, you read it as Greek orc. Got those orcs. Indog, you made it! Yes! Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, so Indog, real quick before we carry on with our smoothie. This is very important. So we opened your package yesterday on stream, Indog, and thank you so much for that. And you know what we did yesterday was we went right into making some cold brew. So we're going to be doing that today.
I am beautiful.
I can say I'm a little bit jealous about the sticker that you sent Sammy. I'll accept this though. He deserves the love too. So, thank you so much, Indog. Here it is, Quintinos. And it's roasted right in Java, in Indonesia. This is crazy. Just the smell of it yesterday. It's giving me all those feels. You just woke up, Steve. Day off, winning. I got some stuff that I gotta do today too. Just me and Posh after Sam goes to work.
I was gonna have a day off today.
Yeah. Okay, next up. This is where all these bananas go that you guys get to look at as well. Bananas. And then a couple of supplement type things. So this is basically what keeps me healthy, I would say. Because it's like a greens antioxidant powder. So I put that in the smoothie every day for Sam and I, and then we use isolate protein. So basically us starting our day with this is we're kind of set up. Especially being in busy kitchens is there's not really a lot of time to eat. You're always so busy feeding the customers. So kind of set ourselves up for success, at least health-wise, by having this during the week. I've made this so many times, like 5 times a week. There you go. Anyone else a smoothie drinker in here? You're not really feeling it. Also, drinking stuff when you're working in a kitchen is like the best thing ever. Because like stopping and eating, the hardest thing. If you can drink your food, I know it sounds weird, but it's just so much easier. Hey, Carrot Potato, welcome. Happy Monday, everyone. Start this week right. Good old scoop of yogurt. Cleaning up the container. I think I just need a touch more. And also making smoothies for yourself at home, so much less expensive than having one at Jamba Juice or Booster Juice every day. It's like these ingredients are really not that expensive. You're a big fan of juicing, nice.
Ah, shucks, I get to eat a burger again today.
Sammy's leaving us to eat a burger.
Do you want a burger for dinner again?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I'll let you know.
We're going to bring pizza home.
Pizza? Whoa, guys. This is a question I don't know if we can answer. Burger, pizza. This is madness. Indog, what do you usually juice? Okay, we're clearing out the peanut butter jar. That means Doggo gets a snack. Buff Bagwell. Welcome in, man. It's been a while. Have you even been in since the new year? I feel like you haven't, so I'm just gonna say Happy New Year. Finally back from Norway. Ah, okay, that's where you were. That's where you were hiding. For your own holiday, you're gonna go to Nova Scotia once you can afford it? Yes. If you don't like the peanut butter off the spoon, are you even a human? Carrot potato, I've not even been out that way yet, so that's amazing if you get there before I do. Yeah, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. A little late, but we'll take it. Your wifey just brought you dessert, chocolate donut and vanilla ice cream. Oh, yeah, you should wife her again. Renew those vows. She's done well. Carrots, cucumbers, bean sprouts, whatever is in season. Sometimes odd stuff like daikon, radish, and jicama. What? That's some crazy stuff to juice. Most people are just like, yeah, apples, celery, orange.
That would be really good to juice though.
Daikon is like so refreshing and juicy. I could totally see why you would do that. Yeah, buff. New cam. We made a couple of upgrades. Santa was good to me. And obviously you guys as well. So a couple new cams going on in here. No camera. No cam command yet. Not yet, Vian. Hey, Voyager. You like food, so you're here. Well, I think you found the right spot then. I also like food. Daikon is actually pungent and sulfurous. It's hard to drink. I guess it depends on where the radish is grown though as well. Because we get daikon at work still. From a farm out here that specializes in like Japanese vegetables. It's called Uminami, the farm. We still get daikon and it's actually really mild. So like usually when I prep it, put a couple of chunks off to the side and just snack on it raw. It's really good. I just want to visit Canada to see how life is here. I don't even know if I can describe how life is here. It's very different in each province, I would say. Just because it is so vast. Okay, the green powder is in there. And even though this is like mostly green things in it, it says there's over 65 nutrients from greens, fruits, and vegetables. It still tastes like fruit. Well, it's not like it tastes like poop. Oh, you have a friend in Nova Scotia. Well, that makes sense then. The sulfur compounds they're good for you. Okay. Yeah, I'm really happy that I'm like the vegetable prep person because I always snack on all the fresh veggies that we get. It's so good.
So, burger or chosen pizza?
Oh, guys, real quick. Burger or pizza tonight? That's what I get for dinner. This is what Sammy gives me as a choice. I know, tough times. Tough times for sure. What type of smoothie am I making? This is what we call a poop smoothie. Because it makes you poop.
Sure.
This is a smoothie that we've been making for what, 4 years now?
Probably like that.
Sammy and I. And it's just a mix of both fruits and vegetables and protein powder, obviously. So there's coconut water, yogurt, peanut butter, banana, cucumber, greens powder, protein. We're going in with a handful of fresh spinach.
Bananas.
June says burger, always burger. Of course, in dog, yeah, both. I request both, please, if that's not too much to ask.
Wow.
Judas, welcome in. Never anonymous. Pizza. Carrot potato. The pizza burger. Infamous. Thanks for the follow, Mama's
We
house.
had a pizza date.
The pizza burger. I'm clicking on that view. Dr. Oetker. They actually make that there? The heck is that? Looks unreal. Poop smoothie, yeah. We always joke around because by the time it's blended up and you drink it, it kind of goes this weird brown color. I am going to be putting blueberries in here right now, so whenever you mix like a blue and a green color, not the best looking. Doesn't look appetizing, but it tastes really good, I have to say. Definitely a fine balance between the fruits and vegetables so that it doesn't just taste like vegetables. Stuffs. So, frozen pineapple, frozen blueberries. Because it's definitely better when you drink it cold. Get 2 5-inch pizzas and put the burger filling in the middle. It is stoner food. It is known. Man, we don't have that here. But I think they do make like a cheeseburger pizza at the pizza spot we like.
Yeah, they do.
I've never been one to really enjoy the ground beef on pizza though. Make a cheeseburger calzone, nice. I love calzones. We are fulled up. This is the madness that we call poop smoothie. It is known. Indog, there's less oxidation if you use one of the low RPM juicers. Huh. If you have a juicer at work that we used to juice all the apples when it was fall time, and that was the one thing that happened right away, was it just oxidized and turned brown. Kind of sad. Okay, we're going over. It's actually gonna get loud. So anyone wearing headphones, I would suggest you want to turn that down for sure. Because we're gonna have to do 2 mixes. So hang tight, guys. Cover your ears if you have to. We're getting to the blending. Around and around she goes.
One more time.
We're gonna take off! Woo! Green and purple bottle. Guess who's who? Okay, we're there. 3, 2, 1, lift off. Welcome in, Louise. How are ya? Sack! Hard time with the government shutdown. So can't do your usual 69. Thank you so much for the 58 biddies. Throwing me off, actually. Frick. Early enter. I love when people say frick. Oh, frick. It's like, what even is that word? So that's the color. So if you obviously take a little bit to drink it, like I do. I usually drink half at a time because it just makes me feel so full. If you let it sit out, it is going to want to oxidize a little bit. So just saying. Your industrial one is quieter. Well, there was a lot of frozen fruit in there as well. So that's what gets really loud. But it also helps keep it nice and cool. Yeah, all cleared for takeoff. I am well, Louise. You just bought a bread slicer for your kitchen. Nice. I love using those things, pushing the loaf through. Those are really fun. Mama's house. Aw. 11 biddies to make up for Sack 69. You guys. Thank you. Usually I can make this so that it's literally a perfect pour in each bottle. I've just made it so many times. Portion control. Ugh. Just. Look at this. It's like at the rim. Woo!
Okay.
Sammy's leaving us. You want any cold brew real quick?
Yes.
We just have to plunge it.
Yes.
Okay.
I have my coffee cup.
Chief, thanks for the host, man. Rim, you say? Let's give it a try first. Good as always. Blueberry is the best.
Thank you. I just put some beard oil in it. This isn't a good camera, so you can't really tell, but thank you.
Okay, this is for Indog, since he sent us this wonderful Indonesian coffee in the mail. And he wasn't in here yesterday with us when we opened it and ground up the beans to make cold brew, but here we are. About 12 hours later is what you need for it to sit in the fridge. Now we can go ahead and plunge it.
Chief and Lewis, I didn't have a beard for a year. I cut it off in like March of last year. I was pretty upset about it. Not gonna lie.
Your beard is better because it's buff. What beard oil do you use?
I use
Aren't they called
duck butter.
Oh yeah, duck butter. Of course,
Yeah.
This guy would. Man, this stuff is black. Once again, like our souls. This is cold brewed, yeah. But it's not actually that dark, I have to say. It just looks really dark on this cam. So we have been plunged.
Funny enough, this beard's only about 2.5 months old. Like it's
Yeah,
really not,
wow.
Yeah, it's taking me long to grow it. But I've been using this duck butter. The Beard Commander.
You got it on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's just all essential oils.
I've almost done this bottle.
Your mustache game, that still counts, Chief. You're like my dad. He's had like a mustache his whole life.
I don't have a good mustache. Your dad has a great mustache. I don't have a good mustache.
Sam looks like his dad when he has a mustache, so
Not
I said
happening.
that's not allowed.
That's not happening.
I'm like, I'm sorry, Sammy, but this is
But
something
this.
not allowed. Ah! No! Okay, initial pour. We're just gonna go for a quick little taste test. Sammy, you can pour whatever you want out. Apparently, so this is supposed to be more concentrated. It's supposed to literally be a coffee concentrate where you can put more water in if you want, whether it's cold or hot.
So the kind of guy I am, last night, I was going shopping for the ingredients today. And I was like, if this kid doesn't show up to work tomorrow, Caitlin's going to have to cook 500 grams of shrimp by herself. I was like, you know what? I'll go get her some good fish. So I got her a piece of sable fish for today, since I'm not going to be home.
Yeah, guys, no grill stream, but Sammy treated me with some black cod, which I haven't eaten in a couple years, I would say, just because it's so expensive.
So today you guys get a little bit of a treat. We get to cook some black cod. But have a great day, guys. I'll watch your stream when I'm at work. But have a great day.
Yeah, we should still be around. Okay, I'll say bye to Sammy in a sec. He's just gonna get his shoes on. Your husband and boys use Gentleman Jim's Montana beard oil. There's so many different beard oils out there now, hey?
Gentleman's gins?
Gentleman Jim's.
Gentleman Jim's.
Ooh, carrot potato. You just made some chips. Cajun spices and salt. That's so good. Cajun chips or Cajun fries. Awesome.
So
Louise, you're not allowed to have a mustache either. Did you shave it or did you put a mustache on once and then she was like, no, that's an absolute no.
that's Lewis. I'm pretty sure.
Is it Lewis or
Yeah,
Louise?
Lewis.
Lewis. Help. Send help. Pronunciation help. Yes, Buff. Biltong stream. So we are going to be doing some jerky streams coming up because I have one entire box in the giveaway of just jerky that we're going to make together on stream. And I might have set my sights a little bit too high, but I want to do beef and pork and a salmon. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, still thinking about it, Buff, and I would love to try that out. Bye, beard.
The beard is leaving.
Thank you for the follow. I am Queen of the Wind. Louise. Okay, we're gonna get into this cold brew in a sec. I'm just gonna say bye to Sammy. 2 secs. We are here. You surprised her with it. She was not impressed. I believe it.
Hold the bottom. Thank you.
Thank you. Sammy's got his grocery list ready to go. Buff, you can talk me through the box you made. Ah, because we need a special box? Well, I got a dehydrator, man. Yeah, we got a couple of upgrades. I guess you haven't been in a little bit. We do have a dehydrator where we can set the temperature settings and a timer. So hopefully that will work. Chili and garlic. Seems more Asian-y than Greek. Curious why orzo versus rice? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, chilies, yes, I could see as more Asian, but like Greek food has a lot of garlic in it. So I just wanted to spice it up. Because usually when I cook black cod, I usually do it with miso and like all those delicious Asian ingredients. So I feel like it would still pair with the Greek salad. But you can totally go the Asian route and go rice instead of orzo. For sure. I'm literally just trying to use up stuff from my pantry as well. And I've been having a lot of rice at work for staff meals, so I needed to really switch it up. You can use a dehydrator, but you would advise the 3-day drying process instead. Okay, Buff. I will go by your technique then. since you've done it. Still sounds good. Yeah, it does. I don't know. I really like chili and garlic with seafood. So we will be marinating that black cod in a little bit here once we kind of carry on with this. Okay, so our cold brew. A little bit more info about it before we really get into it. So I had that initial taste and it's really good. So cold brew, iced coffee, nitro coffee, all the same animal, right? Well, for starters, let's clear up some confusion. After all, you want to know exactly what you're ordering the first time you venture into the world of cold brew coffee. And this has just become a thing in the last couple of years, hasn't it? Dehydrator is fine and faster. It can just be fiddly and depends on the space. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do a little bit of an experimenting then for it. So cold brew is not the same drink as iced coffee, not at all. Iced coffee is simply regular coffee that's served over ice, either mixed with milk or left plain. Okay, so cold brew, made from coffee beans that have been steeped in cold water for 12 to 24 hours. Rather like you would when using an oversized tea bag, but using coffee. It's time rather than heat that extracts the flavor, caffeine, and sugars from the coffee beans. The steeping process is more sympathetic to the coffee bean, so you don't end up with the bitter flavor that roasting can produce. I'm into it, guys. How sour is the coffee compared to some of my other cold brews? So I've only ever had like a couple other cold brews, and I have never actually made my own in-dog. But if I compare this to like a regular brewed coffee, there is no acidity at all. You're a German who uses online dictionaries. Yeah, this is like new to me, in-dog. So this is really cool. So what is nitro coffee then? Nitro is just cold brew coffee that's infused with nitrogen gas. This is a thing. They also do this with a lot of stouts. If you guys drink beer, if you've ever had a nitro stout, that is life-changing. This is one of my favorite beers to drink. The coffee is stored in a beer keg and then served on draft. So every time you pull the tap to get your nitro coffee out, obviously there's some gas being put into the cold brew as you pour it. So it's essentially a beer tap to serve the coffee, and it produces a creamier, sweeter flavor. Obviously, I cannot do this on stream with you guys. So, benefits of cold brew coffee. So number 1, cold brew contains more caffeine than regular coffee. So let's say cold brew's coffee to water ratio is approximately 1 to 60. Usual drip coffee ratio is 1 to 20. So about 40 more points of caffeine there. Yeah, carrot potato. I freaking love Amsterdam. I would love to go there again. With Sammy too. That was one place when I was traveling. I was like, I wish Sammy was here. You made Sizer and maple mead recently. Did I say that right, Buff? Sizer? Maple mead, though. That sounds amazing. Instead of honey. Yeah, the Guinness of coffee. Exactly, Louise. Went down a treat for Christmas. I believe that. So every ticket is 20 bones. Viewn. So you should have enough. Okay, so we're getting more caffeine in this. So for me, someone that kind of deals with anxiety on and off, I have to be careful with how much caffeine I put into my system. So I'm definitely not one of those people that can just drink like 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day and not even feel a thing. And to all you that can do that, that is amazing that your body can process the caffeine like that. So for me, literally this 1 cup of coffee, that's all I can have per day. I really have to limit myself. So the other thing to keep in mind is that this cold brew is actually a concentrate. So usually people still dilute it with milk, cream, or water. And that's gonna reduce the amount of caffeine in there. So keep that in mind. So it's definitely not the same as pouring a cup of coffee that you usually hot brew. Oswalito, welcome in. Ooh, a cooking stream, yay. Guinness in Norway was so bad and cost like 14 doll hairs. Holy, for 1 beer? So number 2 benefit. A cup of cold brew can help you to lose weight. What? Are you guys hearing this right now? So thanks to its high caffeine content, cold brew coffee can help you to lose weight. Interesting. How, you guys may ask. I'm asking how for sure. Well, drinking a cup of cold brew or nitro, following a workout. Okay, so we still have to put in the work, guys. You can't just drink coffee and be like, yep, I'm on a coffee diet. I'm going to lose some weight. So if you drink it after a workout, you'll increase your post-energy expenditure or the afterburn effect. So that's a term used to describe the body's ability to keep burning calories after you finished exercising. Regular coffee has the effect too. But just imagine how much more fat you can burn by increasing your caffeine hit with a cold brew or a nitro. Interesting. Now we know, guys. Thank you for the follow, Oswalito. No, that was perfect, Buff. I loved the doll hairs. 14 doll hairs. Thank you for the follow. Okay, Louise. You drink 2 to 3 Red Bulls a day. That would be the end of me. History. Chief's got his popcorn. Wait, you're pooping now? You got an iced coffee machine because you're lazy. That's epic. I wish. Are you ready for number 3 benefit? Drinking cold brew makes you smarter. What? The caffeine contained in a cup of joe increases the flow of blood to your brain, thus boosting your cognitive function. So only while you're drinking the coffee then. So you're only smart for, let's say, a couple hours. Cold brew coffee is better for drinkers with sensitive stomachs. So that's why I decided to try this out. Because I always find that coffee is too acidic when I drink it, and it really affects my stomach. It gets like all knotted up and kind of dehydrates me almost. Okay, guys, that's it for cold brew. Let's actually drink some of this. And I'm just gonna drink it straight up for the first time. And I don't know if I'm actually gonna dilute it. So we started here about to this line. We didn't do like a full liter. And Sammy took quite a bit. So he's gonna be vibing for sure at work later. And I'm just gonna roll with this small amount since it is a concentrate. I'm not gonna pour like a full cup like I usually would of hot brewed coffee in. We'll see how this goes. Do a little test. A bottle of beer in the pub there only costs €2. Yeah, beer is cheap. Beer and wine I found was pretty cheap in Europe. At least in some places that I went to. You legit wondered if a real cooking stream would be a thing here on Twitch. Ah, you've been experimenting with your bees, honey. What? Do you stream beekeeping? Cheers, guys, to that morning cup of joe, if you so like to participate in it. So obviously the aroma of your cold brew, not going to be the same as hot coffee. but it is there. It's just a lot lighter. And obviously you can tell by the color as well. But that can also be from the roast of the beans. So this is a lighter roast compared to someone like myself that usually drinks a darker espresso style roast. Yeah, there's definitely no acidic nose on that, if we should say that. Just a touch of bitter at the end, but it's really not as bitter as a hot cup of coffee. I would say this is definitely a lot more easy to drink, which is dangerous for sure. Like, I could see myself just drinking this all day and then being like, well, I wonder why I'm not sleeping tonight. It's really smooth. Really, really smooth. That's delicious. So thanks, InDog, for sending those coffee beans. I can't wait to experiment a little bit more with them. Oh, Chief, you figured that pooping from the coffee was the reason for weight loss. It could just be. Yeah, the Netherlands, you have to watch out if you walk into the right coffee shop. That is true. So, camera for main screen. Are you talking about my cutting board, Louise? Because that one has been upgraded. So the cutting board and the stove cam has been upgraded, and we're just waiting for the one to come in for the one that's on my face. So cutting board cam is a Sony A7 II. And then I believe the stove cam is a Sony A5300. You don't stream beekeeping. Yeah, that would be expensive on data. I feel ya. You've been experimenting with mixing raw honey and raw cacao. Ooh, that'd be good. You're just far from being a chef or anything, so you're definitely out of your realm with the actual making of these things. Well, it's always fun to experiment, though. That's like one of the best parts about being a chef, is just letting your creativity flow and not holding back. Okay, let's get into this. So next up, I'm actually just going to quickly wash out the blender because we will be making a homemade Greek salad dressing or a Greek vinaigrette to go with our orzo pasta salad, and we're going to be using the blender. So let me just quickly wash that out from our little smoothie business. And then we're gonna move into making some lunch, because I know that since I haven't really eaten anything, this coffee is really gonna make me hungry if I don't eat something soon. So let's get going. And then after we have lunch, we're gonna be doing a little bit of playing around. So I brought out this book, Noma Guide to Fermentation. It's quite a new book that's been released from one of the best restaurants in the world, and I have some vinegars. So Meyer lemon vinegars that, if you read the date, December 23rd, these have been fermenting in my little cabinet above the stove. So somewhere dark and a little bit warm. And we're gonna read up on how to further process that, because I've never made a lemon vinegar before. But I had a little bit of help with somebody from work to kind of guide me along in the first step. So now we can actually move along and start to make that into a soured vinegar. Kalamata olives, yeah, Oswaldito, exactly. Hey CBD, how are you today? Okay, I'm gonna have one more sip of this just to kind of set me up. That's good. Lunch not really coming along just yet. We just finished doing a little bit of our cold brew from yesterday. And we did make a smoothie this morning already on stream. But we are getting into lunch now, so we have to marinate some fish, cook off some orzo pasta, chop up some veggies for the salad. We're moving right along. Just a humble cook, thank you for the host. But first, let's wash this blender out. Guys, who here has had Greek salad or like a type of Greek pasta salad before? It is honestly like one of my favorite pasta salads to eat. I actually grew up with my mom making it quite often. Also a really good kind of snack to keep in the fridge. Stays for quite a while. Okay, we're all cleaned up. Ready to go. Good, good. Yeah, at least you didn't miss it. How's it going, humble cook? You been enjoying your streams lately? They have a pub there with loads of N64 set up? This sounds amazing, Buff. Yes, Oswaldito, that is so true. I'm going to be mixing some vanilla into honey on Sunday for breakfast. It's really easy though, I have to say. Vune, you don't even know. In Germany, Greek salad is a bunch of meat thrown together. Not the same thing, I don't think. Okay. So let's get into this. I use for my vanilla a vanilla bean paste, Oswaldito. So we got our little piece of black cod there. Taking out some of this lovely stuff, chili garlic oil. This is one of my favorite condiments, especially with seafood. So chili garlic oil. And then so this is where it goes a little bit of an Asian style. Hey, Louise, is what you're saying is my favorite type of chili flake is the Korean chili flake. So it's called gochugaru. And this is the chili flake they put in kimchi. But to me, it's just so nice and floral and a little bit sweet. And actually a nice mild type of spice. It's not all up in your face. You've been having a good time with it. Having quite a few regulars roll through. Yeah, that is perfect then. You are well on your way to success then. Vune, they did serve some weird green stuff in a small bowl next to it. You're totally postponing your date just so you can see the vanilla honey? I love that. Changing lives. Okay, so obviously, chili garlic. We need a little bit of fresh garlic. And since I only have this one small piece of fish, I'm only gonna use 1 clove of garlic. Definitely don't want to overpower it. But sablefish or black cod is a really fatty fish, so it can take the heavy flavoring of the garlic and the spice as well to kind of cut that fat and richness. So I guess, Louise, that's why I kind of went that route, is the spice and garlic. Isn't a Greek salad just a bunch of Greeks in a giant bowl? Exactly, carrot potato. What do I want to marinate this in? I think I'm just gonna go with a Ziploc bag, guys, to be honest. Since it's just a small little piece. Let's open this up. So this black cod fillet, fresh and wild. So it says, whether you call it black cod or sable fish, this fish is high in omega-3 and rich in flavor. So we picked this up at Whole Foods, and it's $12 for 172 grams. So the price of this fish, $70 a kilo, my friends. $70 a kilo. One of my favorite fish. It's just so expensive, so I never really eat it because it just doesn't make sense cost-wise. Yeah, what the hell? Gochu means chili, garo means powder. Wow, actually a direct translation. Thank you for that, Humble Cook. So obviously, black cod is, if we look at it, the skin is black. This is an alright piece, I have to say. It's actually not of the best quality. If we're gonna look at this, it is kind of torn in half right there. So I will be trimming that up there, because if you put this right into the pan, this stuff is gonna cook and get dried out before the rest of the fillet has been cooked. And then I also feel that this is a fish that has pin bones in it. So there's a line of bones that goes all the way along here. I'm actually surprised that they didn't take that out. And then as you can see, the skin is still on. And I like to cook fish with the skin on still. I find that it keeps it a lot more moist. So the only thing that I'm gonna have to do is just trim off that part there. We'll quickly cook that up in the pan first thing. Just a quick little fry on that one side. And then just take it off the skin and kind of pick away at it, let's say. And then we are going to take those pin bones out. So I want those bones out before we start to even cook it. And you will need a set of fish tweezers to get that out. Yeah, nice and cheap. Exactly, Beth. So for me to think about the price point here and the quality of this fillet, I don't think it's worth that price. If I'm paying that price for a piece of fish, it should be in perfect condition. All of those pin bones should be out already. Like, I shouldn't have to really do any work to this fish. I should just be able to season it and cook it for $70 a kilo. But hey, that's life, guys. Sometimes grocery stores take advantage of you. Yes, guys, the gambling has started. Yeah, that's Whole Foods, where we don't actually shop there ever. But Sammy went to a grocery store called Save On Foods yesterday to try and pick some stuff up for me after he was done at work, and the shelves were completely empty. Like, I don't know if you can see this on this cam, but literally the produce section had nothing on the shelf. I was like, what the hell? Is this like an apocalypse happening? I've never seen a grocery store look that bad. So, fish tweezers are what these things are called. They have a wider end to them, so you can really grab that pin bone. And you can usually see them. You can see all the little white marks there. And you basically just want to kind of grab onto one of those bones And this is something that can be a little bit difficult as well, because you don't want to tear up the flesh, is the one thing that is kind of scary. So grab onto it, and then you should be able to just pull it out. But if I find that this is going to tear up the flesh too much, I might wait until after it's been cooked to pull them out. Yeah, guys, I'm going to wait, because that's actually just ripping the meat out. But usually with a fish like a salmon or a trout, you can pull those out right away without really wrecking the fillet. But if you look, it's just absolutely tearing it apart. So we're going to leave it. I don't know if that means the fish isn't that fresh or what. You won, yeah. You want to report a bug? You actually won. You. Oh no, Humble Cook. You lost them all. Yeah, brutal. Welcome back, Anchovy. Okay, so like I said, just going to trim off that little belly piece. And that sometimes can happen with the belly of the fish. It's always going to be more thin than the rest of the fillet. So I usually trim it off anyways and just cook it separate. But definitely do not throw out the belly of any fish, because that's where a lot of fat is stored, and that's a really flavorful part. But now I just have this little piece of fillet to cook up. A friend of your mom is Greek, and her parents have an olive farm in Greece. Oh, I'm jealous. That is true, Humble Cook. I haven't worked with black cod too much. Usually only on like special menus for maybe, let's say, like Christmas or weddings in the restaurant. But maybe that's also why a lot of restaurants don't use it, is because you have to fool around with taking the bones out after it's cooked. And that's a waste of time when you're trying to plate food. Is the rest of the food's gonna get cooled off by the time you even pull those bones out. I also always find it really humbling that, like, yeah, I'm a professionally trained chef, but that does not mean that I know everything, guys. There's still stuff to be learned, always. So if I always think that the way I'm doing it is right, then to me that is just not helpful at all. I'm always down to learn new stuff. So never be afraid to like question what I'm doing or tell me a different way to do something. So we're gonna go in, just use our press to crush this garlic into here. Fry up the skin and add it to the salad. I don't know if I'm a fan of the black cod skin. We'll see. We'll see how it tastes. Okay, that's in our bag. And actually, I'm just going to kind of flip that onto the fillet. And now our chili garlic oil. So I'm not going to shake this to mix it up. I just want the plain oil, and then we're gonna put chili flakes in afterwards. Yeah, I don't know everything. Are you even a chef then? Man, you worked at Morimoto. You poached them in sake and ginger. Oh, yum. Pinbone them beforehand. Glaze them in the miso sauce before you serve it. Nice. That sounds so good. Okay, just a little dribble of our chili garlic oil. Since the black cod is super fatty, we don't need to oil it up too much. But this is a flavored oil, so just use it sparingly. Lightly dredge the skin in flour and then fry it, or the entire piece of fish, Buff. Because I don't want my board to smell like chilies and garlic. Thank you for the follow, Alan Nuejo. You are definitely not overstepping your boundaries. The kitchen is not a place to have egos. So for me to just be like, no, you can't say that in here, that would just be weird. We're all foodies. We're all wanting to learn more about this stuff. Okay, so just kind of rub the chilies and garlic over the flesh part of our fillet. And then we're gonna let that sit until we cook it later. And you notice I'm not seasoning it at this point. Is with something as delicate as fish, if you season it too far ahead of time, it will actually get over seasoned and it will kind of draw the moisture out of the flesh and it can get dried out. So just be aware of that. And I typically never season fish ahead of time before I cook it. Unless obviously you are curing it for something like a salmon lox of sorts. Yeah, exactly. Share your knowledge. We're all listening. So there's that, guys. That looks pretty yummy. So I'm just going to pop that back into the fridge until we're ready to cook it up later. Now we can get into cooking our orzo. And I think we'll make our Greek salad dressing while we cook that. And then basically all we have to do after is chop up some vegetables and cook our fish. We're moving right along. So a couple ingredients for the dressing. Obviously, some feta. Marinating the fish. Good question, Louise. I would say if you want to marinate on a fish, minimum 30 minutes. I would say for it to really absorb those flavors. And probably maximum 5 hours. Fish is so delicate in flavor, right? So it doesn't take it long to absorb those flavors. So it can actually get overpowering if you leave it too long. So I usually do around half an hour to 2 hours. Okay, we got our feta. We have a funny little looking lemon to juice up. This is a must, guys, for Greek dressing. Anchovy. I'm using paste. Next up, some dried oregano. Dried oregano. The internet died. Welcome back, Buff. Butter in the pan. Salt the fish lightly. Dredge it in flour. Shaking the excess off, then pan fry it. Yum. Yeah, such a simple way to cook a fish, hey? Okay, we have that. We need red wine vinegar. Red wine vin, some olive oil. And actually, I do a mix of olive and vegetable oil, just so that the olive is not too bitter and overpowering. You will notice the strong flavor of olive oil when you make a salad dressing with it, so I always go kind of half and half. Just to be sure that all of these other ingredients will still shine through. Gives it a nice golden finish. Yeah, I don't think we'll have any problem getting a nice golden exterior on the sable fish just because it is so fatty. It should brown up really easily in the pan. Okay, got that. Our lemon. I think that's all we need. And maybe a clove or two of garlic. Again. Yar. And I think I'll do 2, since these are pretty small. Okay, so that's what we need for our dressing. And then our pasta. So here's our orzo. Basically a rice-shaped pasta, let's say. But you still cook it traditionally like any other pasta. And I guess I'm gonna make a little bit extra for myself so I can eat it for lunch tomorrow, since Simon's gonna be gone to work. So maybe I'll cook up 1.5 cups. This is a 2-cup measure. You've never seen this before? Dune, are you serious? So it says on the package for it to be al dente or cooked with a little bite. It says cook it for 8 minutes. I always like to test what it says on the package. So that one says 8. This one says 6. I have 2 different packages. Oh gosh, guys. Where do we even go from here? So what, do we just play it safe and go with 7? You thought it was rice. It pretty much is the rice of pasta. I don't know. The little pieces look like they're all the same shape. Whoa, guys. We got a butt burglar in chat. Welcome in, butt. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? Don't worry, Buff. The Kalamata olives are in the fridge. I'm just not using them in the salad dressing. I find that it might get a little bit too salty. I think the feta and the anchovy is definitely enough in the dressing. Hello, Butt. Great to see you today. Okay, so this, do your typical steps for boiling pasta. So we're gonna fill a pot about halfway with hot water, and then we're going to add enough salt into that water so that it tastes like the sea. And that's gonna help season the pasta as it cooks. Otherwise, you'll end up with very bland tasting pasta. Let's just put it that way. So I'm gonna get this heating up on a nice medium-high heat. And let me just show you guys how much salt I think I'll be adding into there. So let's say I have about 1.5 liters of water in that pot. So probably gonna roll with amount of salt like that, about 1/4 cup, let's say. But if you're not super confident in how much salt you should put into your pasta water, always taste it until you're like, yeah, that tastes like the ocean. And for those of you who have never tasted the ocean or the sea, it just tastes like overly salted water. So it should kind of make you be like, yeah, that's really salty. So put that right in there. And now we're just gonna let that do its thing while we add our salad dressing ingredients into our blender. Today's a blending stream. Buff, I could eat any olive by the handful. At work, we use the cherignolas, the nice plump green olives, and we cold smoke them for 4 hours, and then we roast them in the oven with like lemon peel and fresh herbs from the garden. Oh my gosh. When those are in the kitchen, I have to like tie my hands behind my back because I'll just keep popping them in. Hello, Pella Monkey. How are you today? But you had a good weekend. Mother-in-law's B-Day, so you got her cake, flowers, and balloons. Oh, I love festivities like that. You're back to actually trying to eat better as of today. And you've been eating really good though, I have to say. I love seeing your little food posts. Makes me want to eat healthier, to be honest. Ooh, pine nuts. I don't have any pine nuts, Buff. That's not something I usually keep in the house just because they do go bad quite quick. Okay, blender round 2. So this is a recipe that I believe I actually have typed up and have it in PDF for you guys. So anyone that wants an amazing Greek salad dressing, let me know. If you want, just let me know here in chat and I'll post it in Discord for you guys. Have you ever had pine mouth? Luckily, I haven't. Yeah, luckily I haven't, because I think that would ruin pine nuts for me. I think it's just that time of year, though, but is like all the treats are around, right? Okay, so whenever I'm making a salad dressing, I always start by measuring out my acids and oils first. So usually the acids are some sort of vinegar and or citrus. And I usually go with equal parts acid and oil. A typical vinaigrette, what you were taught in culinary school, is actually 2 parts oil to 1 part acid. I just find that it is too oily for my liking, is that the oil kind of coats your palate and you can't taste the other ingredients as much. So over the years, I've found that I enjoy a nice 1-to-1 ratio instead. So let's go, since this blender is so big, I'm just gonna use measuring cup. Kind of measure it out. So I think I'm gonna want a 1/2 cup of acid, but I want to split that between the red wine vin and our lemon that we're gonna juice. So definitely more red wine vinegar than lemon. Hey, Chew and Brew. How was the weekend? Welcome in. You like to make a pigeon salad once in a while with pine nuts, lardons, salad, and black pudding chunks. That sounds unreal. I'm intrigued, Buff. Yeah, but that plus getting gifted a ton of baking stuff. It's not like you're just gonna throw it out, right? That would be madness. It's like, well, now I have to eat it. You had pine mouth for 2 weeks? 2 weeks it can last? Now you're ruined, right? That's insane. Okay. So we have a very full 1/2 cup of our acidic components here. And I would say it's 1/3 lemon juice to 2/3 of the red wine bin. Ooh. Into the blender. All right, Louise, you gotta head off to work. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow. We're making duck ramen for dinner on stream. Enjoy the day at work, though. Hope it goes well. Thanks for popping in. So, like I said, 1/2 and 1/2. Olive oil to vegetable oil, which I use grapeseed. Yeah, but I love super acidic as well. Into the blender. So now we have our base for our vinaigrette. Now we can add in the other flavorings accordingly. So because we're blending this, all we have to do is smash and peel our garlic. We don't have to mince it. Let the blender do the work for you. MTF. Welcome in. Thanks for the follow. As well as Idago. Everything is okay. You're trying to decorate your cave. Are you nesting right now? I always call it nesting when you're like trying to make a house your home. So 2 garlic cloves into the blender. Now our anchovy paste. So we need enough so that you get the salty component of it, and let's say the umami is like a really earthy type of flavor, but we don't necessarily want to taste the fishy flavor of the anchovy. So for this amount of dressing, I think I'm gonna go with 2 teaspoons worth. And keep in mind, you can always add more if you taste it and you're like, there's not enough. But you definitely can't take it away once it's all blended up. Yes, this is for you. Anchovy represent. And now our feta cheese. Both going into the dressing and the salad. And amount of feta. Maybe a couple tablespoons. Once again, this is going to add a salty component to your dressing, so we shouldn't really have to add any extra salt when we go to taste our dressing after it's blended up. It makes him happy. He's rubbing your legs. Oh, Anchovy, is that the name of your dog? And then lastly, some dried oregano, guys. Obviously you can use fresh as well, but currently where I live, 'tis not the season for fresh oregano. That has died a couple months ago. So let's do a teaspoon. This is actually a very strong flavored spice when it's dry, so really have to be careful. Just add a little bit at a time until you're happy with that. Oh, a cat. Cute. Okay, so that's it for our dressing. Let's go over to the blender. See how it blends up, and then we'll give it a taste, see if we need to add anything else to this. Strike none, but how does he feel about being put into a blender? Just had to go there, hey? Hey, Big Davy. Welcome in. How did your stream go yesterday? I actually had no idea that you were a streamer until I saw you in Claire Coffee. We got another food streamer in chat. Let's get a shout out for Chew and Brew as well. Nothing like cooking in front of all the other food streamers. Ugh, the pressure is on. Okay, so we're starting on, obviously, the low setting. Kind of breaking up the feta to start with. This is what we end up with. Kind of like a blah colored dressing. But the feta really does help it emulsify, I find. So this definitely doesn't look anything like what we started with, right? So this dressing, it will eventually separate. The oil will want to come out just a little bit. But I guess if you really wanted to stay emulsified, the one thing that you can put in is some kind of mustard. Mustard is a really good emulsifier for vinaigrettes. So if you're someone that doesn't love to stir dressings all the time before you use them, just a touch of mustard in there will really help that. Yeah, this is the anchovy smoothie. And today on Cook with Kate, we are doing a smoothie tasting. Nike, welcome in, man. Good to see you on this Monday. Yeah, we end up with a delicious vinaigrette. So let's try this. It looks proper. From the previous times that I have made this, I'm going to estimate that when I was working at the brew pub, probably made close to 20 liters of this in the 3 years. Maybe even more. To me, a dressing is perfect when it just gets you a little bit in the back of the throat with the acidic components. We don't taste the anchovy at all. It's definitely salty enough. The oregano is not overpowering, which I think is key. Getting the nice little hint of garlic, but once again, a strong flavor that's not overpowering the other ones. I think that's good. I'm really happy with that. Way better than the Kraft one. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Is like, I grew up eating Greek salad with the Kraft Greek feta vinaigrette. This is life-changing though. And this is actually a recipe of Sam's that he shared. Sammy's Greek dressing. Hey mama. Happy Monday, how are ya? And yay, our water just started boiling, guys. So let's get this into a little cup. Ready for that pour. There's that. And we'll definitely have extra dressing, which was part of the plan. So that can just stay in the fridge for now. Is the dressing more authentic? Yes, exactly. So like most people, when you say there's anchovy in the dressing, they're like, ooh. But to me, that really, really makes the dressing. It's the same thing with putting anchovy in Caesar salad dressing. It is needed. And most times, if you don't tell someone that the anchovy's in there, they would not be able to pick it out. No, it's okay, Mama. You haven't missed most of it. We're just kind of getting into our lunch prep. So don't you worry. This is basically the first thing that we've done, is make some dressing. We're getting ready to cook our orzo. Blue, did you say hello yet? Not until now. How's it going? Okay, I'm gonna leave our feta out because we will be crumbling that into our salad as well. So a little bit of feta in the dressing, a lot more feta in the salad, and I like nice big chunks of feta. Nice little salt bomb. You've been lurking, you guess. Well, that's allowed. And first things first, we got some boiling water going on. So might as well drop our pasta. I am going to go with a 6-minute timer. So we're gonna go on the lower end of what the bags said for al dente cook time, just because I definitely don't want mushy pasta. I want that little bite in it, especially if we're eating it cold. Yes, Strike None. Oh, another place that I really would love to go is Greece. They literally put a block of feta on top of the salad. It's amazing. I'm sure it's not expensive there though. Okay, so pasta into our water. 6-minute timer. We'll give that a little stir just to make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. And now, we need a bowl for our pasta salad. Just finished your din din. Nice, Mama. What'd you have? Anchovy. You like the S&R site? They are honestly blowing up. Is the maker of my aprons. He just started out basically doing this in his house in Vancouver. And so Sam and I were some of the first chefs that he brought aprons to basically test in kitchens and see how the fabric worked and the style, where the pockets and stuff go. So I'm just really grateful to be a part of something like that. He's really grown in the past years, and the site is really cool. They have your kind of build your own apron on there. It's amazing. Definitely like a suit of armor. You had mashed tatties, sausage and onion gravy. Yum. Oh, that's like such good home style food. Okay, I'm gonna give one more stir here now that it's just starting to boil up again. And let's get our veggies out of the fridge. What do I put in the pockets? Okay, let's see. Might have to adjust this. So this one's a little bit different style than my other ones. I don't put a lot in the pockets at home just because I'm not doing anything like too crazy in here. But obviously there is pen pocket. Sometimes people actually put their phone up here. I don't know why, but you can definitely put like any kind of notes or something that you want in there. These pockets I never really use, but on this apron there is no towel holder. So in some of the aprons that he makes, there's like a little band here where you can slip a towel through and let it hang. So this would be probably the spot where I let my towel hang out. Do something like that. But you can choose how you want your apron design. So he'll put the pockets and the loops basically anywhere you want and make it your own. All homemade too, mama. Yeah, well, the sausages were shop bought. That's allowed. Yeah, it is great to hear companies like that. Exactly. Gotta support local, guys. Okay, we need cucumber, olives. Getting into it again. There's our olives. That's for you, Buff. A little bit of cucumber. You should make a bakery apron with only room for the pens and the towel holder. Yeah. It'd have to be like white though, hey? And then we're gonna be chopping up some herbs to put into here as well. Freshen it up. So I'll take out my bag of mixed herbs, and I think I want to chop just a little bit of spinach into it. Okay, so maybe the olives I'll use for a garnish, but the feta we can totally crumble and just mix in with the pasta salad. Totally okay. Okay, we have about a minute left on our orzo. All of this feta, no. We'll just do a nice little brick. So probably a chunk like that is gonna be good. But feta is really salty, so be careful how much you put in, especially with the olives as well. You can get messy cooking and baking sometimes, so you need a full body apron. Just suit up, eh? Okay, our timer's about to go off for our orzo. I think it's done. Maybe like 20 more seconds. It is al dente, at least some of them. But then there was also a piece that I bit on and it tasted a little bit like raw, dry pasta still, as it was like crunchy and kind of stuck to my teeth. So I'll let that sit for just a couple seconds before I strain that. And that should just kind of finish off that little bit of bite. Give it a little shake in your strainer. Get all that water out. And then we end up with something that looks like that. So literally rice pasta is what I always call it. But because we're serving this cold, So we're gonna want to cool this off. And before we even do that, we're gonna want to oil this pasta. Otherwise it's gonna stick together. I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys. When you like pre-cook some pasta and just put it back into the pot to keep it warm and it just sticks into this mess. So olive oil is what I always use. And then you can also notice that I'm not rinsing this to cool it off. That's a big no-no, because we still want all those starches in there. We don't want to rinse that stuff off. And I believe any Italian would tell you that. At least that's what I've been told. So just give that a stir with the oil. And then I think to cool this off quickly, because if we leave this in here in this colander, it's all kind of piled up on itself, right? And that means that it's going to continue steaming and cooking. So the way to beat that is to lay it out onto something flat and spread out that surface area. It'll cool off a lot quicker. So what I always do is just put it onto a baking pan with parchment. And at that point you can decide whether it will fit into your fridge or if you just need to leave it out at room temp. It might fit in the fridge for us. We'll see. Move on over, bowl. Pasta. We make it a pasta. I've also seen recipes that use this orzo pasta in a risotto. That sounds interesting. And then I also saw that there's a bunch of like one pot skillet recipes where you use orzo as well. So it's a pretty versatile pasta to use. So we do want to spread this out still though. But you can see the sheen on this from the oil, so that's what you want to see. If it's not shiny, then you definitely don't have enough oil, and that means it's going to stick together. That looks good to me. Just one nice kind of even layer. And I'm just going to leave that out at room temp. I don't think I have very much room in the fridge to put this pan. It's cooked perfectly. It's definitely nicely seasoned as well. You love orzo. You imagine it's more forgiving when making a risotto. That's a good question, Ben. I would actually be scared of making it, relax camera, of making a risotto with it. Because it cooks so quick compared to the arborio rice that people use. So I think you'd have to be really careful that you just don't overcook it. Because then it would just turn to mush. Okay, so crumbling feta. Like I said, I like nice big chunks. That way you get a good bit of cheese in each bite. So there's that. And now we're gonna get into chopping up our veggies. And this is definitely the order that you want to take when making an orzo pasta salad is you always want to cook your pasta ahead of time and make sure it has time to cool off before you have to mix it, as well as making the dressing ahead of time. Is you want to let those flavors combine a little bit before you actually use it to dress a salad. Is a dressing does get better overnight. So it would have been even better if we made it yesterday. So you guess it could make things harder then? It totally could. Yeah. Because what? It only took us 6 minutes to cook this orzo in boiling water. And most of the time, a risotto takes about half an hour to cook. So it would definitely be a little bit different. Okay, move over, Bull. Coming in with the cuke. Nice long English. Ah, that's a good one as well, Ben. I was using orzo in chicken soup. That is actually one of my favorites. Good one. And I'm gonna cut this cuke so that we get nice little triangles of it. It looks like the camera really wants to focus on this red bowl, so I'm just gonna take that out of there. And then we're just gonna get nice little slices like that, so that we get a good bite of cucumber when we eat our salad. But we still only want it to be bite size, because this is not something that you're gonna eat with a fork and knife. So you still want it to be nice and easy to eat with just a fork. You don't want to leave the cucumber in big rounds like that. Then you'll kind of struggle to get a little bit of everything in each bite. So that can go right into the bowl. And now, next up, some tomatoes. Nice little grape tomatoes. These are my favorite. I don't think I could live without tomato. So we're gonna do a good handful like that. One note on tomatoes, guys. When you buy them, do not put them in the fridge. Always leave your tomatoes out of the fridge because the flavor actually will change. Yeah, we're just gonna blend the Greek salad. Exactly, but then you don't even have to chew. Yeah, teeth are optional. Hilarious. So I'm just slicing these little guys in half. I'm actually gonna try one. They actually have a really nice sweetness to them. They looked a little underripe to me, but they taste fine. Sweet and acidic. Exactly how a tomato should be. Into the bowl. Use a straw. Yeah. You don't even have to use your hands. You guys are wild today. So I'm just gonna do a handful of spinach, both for health and just for a little pop of green in our salad. Yeah, it's because you're here, Nike. Exactly. Okay, there's that. We'll put our feta away. They're feeding off your vibes. It's okay, as long as we got no bad vibes in here. We'll keep rolling with it. So literally just going to give this a rough chop. So I think the easiest way to do this is just kind of get a little bunch together. Hold it down with your hands. I'm gonna go pretty fine. So you get just like nice little pieces like that. So guys, anyone have any crazy plans for the day? What do we got on the schedule? I think I got some cleaning to do today. I took down the Christmas tree yesterday. Adulting things. So that's alright. Nice looking spinach? Yes, John. You are correct. And thank you. Crazy plan for viewing today. Going to sleep before 9:30 p.m. Nice. Going to bed early. I'm guessing you have school tomorrow. Okay. Into the bowl. I think I actually might take Doggo for a walk. We're gonna go down to the river. It's been a couple months since I went down to the river just because of our nice little neighborhood bear that's been around lately again. So we learned that the bears here, the black bears, don't actually go into full hibernation because it doesn't get cold enough. So if there's enough food around for them to eat, they're not actually going to go to sleep during the winter. So that's why I have to be really careful about where I walk down here, especially by the river. It's pretty sketchy. And in the last month, we had the salmon spawn happening there. So that was like a no-go area for all the locals. Is like, if you want to meet up with a bear, go for it. But I'm good. School's next week, but you have work. You're really proud of yourself for having a normal sleeping rhythm, though. Yes. It helps so much, Vyun. It's like you really need that sleep to be able to do everything that you have to do, especially juggling work and school. Ah, in Quebec. Is that where you're from, Ben? They're still eating, so not going to sleep. Yeah. And then people here, I will say it, are pretty dumb. There is a rule here, a bylaw, that we're not allowed to leave any of our household garbage or anything outside. But there are still some houses that do it, and that's what keeps the bears around, is because they get used to having that access and rummaging through the garbage. So then they for sure will not hibernate. So that's really bad, especially because there's so many little kids in this neighborhood. Okay, so basically everything we need in our Greek salad. Now it's time to get herby. This is for you, Nike. I'm getting in the weeds. So I have some parsley here that I'm gonna chop up. We're gonna do a nice mix of everything. Really keep this fresh. It's a nice sunny day out. Not eating any heavy food. And this is curly parsley, something that I don't typically use. Sammy picked up a little bit of basil for us yesterday as well. I know that's like not super Greek, but we're just gonna do this nice herb mix, and I think it'll go really well together. Not gonna go with the cilantro, but I think I will use a very small scallion. And then just a little bit of dill. Oh, that's cilantro. And as you guys can see how I packed my herbs, this is how you should pack them if you want them to last a long time in the fridge. Herbs don't like being in closed spaces. That's typically when I find they go bad quicker, is when they're always kind of wet and moist, sitting on top of each other. So I always, whenever I get them home, I always take them out of the bunch first off, because usually they're bunched right at the bottom. So keeping them together like that, first off, bad. And then just wrap them in a paper towel. And that'll keep them moist and fresh a lot longer. And they won't go bad as quickly either. Yeah, moist just for you, but... So if we store the herbs like this, they will last minimum 1 week. And I would recommend obviously checking them as well throughout that week, just to be sure. And it's always good to kind of pick out any pieces that you see are going brown, because that will spread really quickly. If one little piece starts to go bad, it's like a cancer almost. But this will last up to 2 weeks, for sure. So the towel was dry when I originally put it on the herbs when I bought them, but now the towel is damp. So what the towel does is it draws all the moisture off of the herb, and in turn keeps it fresher longer. Because whenever something sits in water, it will start to decompose a lot quicker. Anchovy, you find it interesting hearing about bears being an everyday thing for us. Yes. Ah, you're from Ohio and you don't have that. It is something new for me. So just in the last year, I've really had to be more bear aware. Just where I'm living. And I actually had a dream last night that the bear came back. So in the summer, since there are a lot of you that are new in here, the bear was in here in the summer. It ate apples off of our tree in the fall, and it also completely ravaged our Concord grapes. We never even got to pick any grapes because it just came in one day, climbed on top of the trellis where the grapes were, and ate every single grape off of it. It was a real thing. And then it actually walked by the patio and like had a nice little look and sniff at me. So that was like a very real bear experience. And after that, I was like, okay, I will be a little bit more conscious then. Thank you for the follow, Aaron. And welcome in. Yes, Vune. Okay, you're heading out. Good night, Vune. You take care. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day at work. Okay, so we're gonna pick the herbs off of the stem. Have I thought of getting mace? So we do have bear bangers, and I also do have bear spray. So I think I will be taking a bear banger out with me today if I go down to the river with Posh. And basically what the bear banger is it's kind of like a flare. It's like a little flare pen that you load up. Literally looks like a pen. And it's gunpowder that's been packed. And when you kind of pull back on the pen and let it hit it, and then it shoots the flare over to where the bear is. You want to aim it at the bear, and it'll make this really loud bang, which is why it's called a banger. And then that's supposed to scare the bear away. I almost fired it off in the summertime at the bear, but he was too quick. He climbed over the fence, and I just didn't want to shoot it in the neighbor's yard. I thought that would be not a very good thing. Black or brown bears? Black or brown? We have black bears here. Okay, picking our dill. Nice butt. Nice win. Yeah, what if it just makes it mad and he charges? Well, then you gotta run. I don't really know what happens then. That's life, but just go into survival mode. You have a firework that does the same effect, like a cherry bomb? Yeah, we have those too. But luckily, the dog will always smell the bear before we know it's around. So there have been some mornings that she doesn't go to the bathroom outside in the dark. If she can smell that the bear has been around and she's like, nope, not going out there. So that's kind of like a warning for us. If she starts to act funny, it's like, okay, the bear has been around again. Cold brew, finished. I have to say that's quite lovely to drink. Okay, so we're gonna finally chop all of these herbs, starting with our parsley. I don't ever buy curly parsley. It's really weird to chop. Feels like chopping air almost. It's so light. Just kind of bounces around. Flat leaf parsley is the way to go. Yeah, it's so fancy though. We have to make sure that we put a couple sprigs on the rim of our dish when we serve this later. Yeah, just kidding, guys. That's like one of my pet peeves. And I can definitely say we're getting hungry over here. Does chopping count as exercise? Because if so, this cold brew coffee is gonna help me lose weight. Gonna get a little bit of that afterburn going. Okay, parsley. Done. Still focusing on this bowl, hey? I'm just gonna get that out of there. Okay, moving on to our basil. It's definitely not the prettiest, but the way that I like to chop the basil is stack all your leaves on each other. I always go from biggest on the bottom to smallest on the top. And then we're gonna roll a little basil cigar of sorts. I'm gonna keep all those leaves together. And then starting at the stem end, we're just gonna go really, really small cuts. Really fine. And what this is called is a chiffonade. Chiffonade of basil. It's really, really fine cuts, and then you'll get these little strands. Did Sammy and I ever decide between pizza or burgers? I didn't. So he was asking me what I wanted. I think I probably am gonna just go with a burger. Not really feeling like pizza. I've also been trying to eat a little bit more healthy. Yeah, it is a tough call. So there we go, guys. And I'm just gonna leave the basil in those little strands. I'm not gonna chop it up too much further. That way we get a nice little contrast. So, smallest green onion of life. Just cut the roots off of it. Pizza sauce and mozza over the burger. And I don't know if they have that at Sammy's work. Oh, meatball subs. Now you're talking. That, in-dog, might be something that we eat in New York, which is honestly coming up very soon. On the 19th, it'll be a month until we go to New York and see Elvin and do the IRL stream. That's gonna come up so quick. So once again, just nice fine little cuts on our green onion. You really want to disperse the flavor of the herbs. You don't want it to overpower in one bite. And usually you do have to chop all herbs separately, just because they're all different shapes. Is like if you chop the dill and the basil together, definitely won't get the same result. So I know it's a little bit of a process, but there is a reason why it's done. Any restaurants on my list in New York? Yeah, we've been looking at a couple. Definitely gonna be doing like a full day of pizza touring and eating. Probably like a little Brooklyn and Queens type of thing. There is a really old school Italian restaurant called Rouse, which I would love to eat at, but apparently it's really hard to get a reservation. Like it's always booked up by the locals. And then definitely want to hit up Italy. And probably Momofuku as well. Look at that bowl of goodness. Okay, so let's kind of test where our pasta is at as far as being cool. Bubba gum shrimp though, I'd be down for that. Yeah, we will start planning our days out pretty soon here, guys, so feel free to kind of request or let us know of any places in New York that you think we would enjoy. Oh yeah, cereal milk ice cream from Milk Bar. I have made that ice cream before on stream. It is so good. And Christina Tosi is like one of my favorite chefs. Okay, let's have a little taste. See if it's cooled off. Mm-hmm. It's nicely cooled off. So that's perfect. Now, best thing about putting it on parchment is just grab your two corners on each end and you can just slide the pasta off of the parchment into the bowl. Yes, anchovies. So we're going to be streaming basically the entire trip. It's going to be like very full days of streams, probably 10 to 12 hours worth. So we still need to get like a power pack for streaming and kind of decide on how we want to deal with the data that we'll be using the whole time. But that is the plan, to be streaming IRL for like 5 days with you guys while we're there. And that is why I put up the goals, because it is a group effort, totally. And I only get time off 2 times a year. So February, after Valentine's, I get like a week and a half off of work. And then in October, I get 2 weeks off. But that's it. So I really have to take advantage of those time that I get off. And I love to travel, so might as well go somewhere new. Okay, I'm getting the dressing out of the fridge. We can mix this up now. So, dressing, looking pretty good. It really didn't separate too much while sitting in the fridge. But I will give it a mix one more time. One more time. And then we'll toss this up with the dressing, kind of let it marinate for, let's say, at least a couple of minutes. But this is something that's going to be better tomorrow. If we dress it today and mix it, the pasta is going to soak up the flavors of the dressing. It's going to be so good. And all we got to do is cook our fish. Pretty much there, my friends. I think that's good. And we're gonna use the olives as a garnish so they can kind of stand out. Pretty pumped about the addition of the chopped spinach in here though. That's something I've never seen. I think it'll just lighten it up a bit because pasta salad can get pretty heavy. You could also add some chopped peppers into here. Maybe a little bit of celery for crunch too. I'm gonna make sure you get all the way to the bottom. Nothing getting stuck down in the bottom of the bowl there. Those nice chunks of feta and tomato. And it looks like it's nicely coated. So obviously we don't want too much excess dressing on here. It'll just be too heavy. I'm gonna give this a taste, see how it is all together. See if it needs anything. Or if we're just good to let this kind of marinate. The fresh herbs in there really do make it. Like that combination. But the dressing does still stand out. I have to say, this is actually like one of the best pasta salads I've ever had. But you might find as you let this sit overnight that it will soak up the dressing and you might just have to add a touch more when you go to eat it the next day. But definitely a really good leftover to have in the fridge. I love the crunch of the veggies in there. Hey guys, looks good enough to eat, thanks. We are getting into our marinated piece of black cod. So marinated with some minced garlic, chili flake, and a little bit of chili garlic oil, which I've made previously in a stream. Basically all it is vegetable oil heated at a really low heat with garlic and chili flakes in it, and then you blend it up and you get a chili garlic oil. Really, really simple. Okay, so I'm gonna use a cast iron pan for this so we can get it really nice and hot. Quick little cook on this fish. And black cod is actually pretty forgiving just because it is super fatty, so even if you overcook it, it's still not going to be super dry. That's a good thing to keep in mind. I am just going to close the blind a little bit. Blinded by the light. Let's turn this pan on to like a medium-high heat, I would say. So one thing when you're cooking or marinating fish is you want to be careful of any sugar that you put into the marinade because that can burn if you're going to cook it at high heat. So just be aware of that. But other than that, all we have to do now is season this. Nice little salt and pepper hit. Yum, but the color on that looks so good, eh? Fresh cracked pepper. And then just a nice light sprinkling of salt. You can always add more after. Cannot take it away. And fish is more delicate than something like a steak or a chicken. So I find that it always takes a little bit less salt than those two things. Cod is your favorite. You don't get the black one. So black cod, or it's also called sable fish, a lot different than ling cod. It's really fatty, first off, and I think that's why it is more expensive. So this, price point wise, this was $70 a kilo. So that's why, like, I don't usually buy it. My boyfriend picked this up for me because he knew I would end up eating lunch alone today. he got called into work. So this is like really a treat for me. So 70 bucks a kilo. This little piece cost $12 and it's about 180 grams. But it is lovely, Ben. Like, black cod is one of the nicest fish that you can buy. In my opinion, at least, is, like I said, it's really, really fatty. So even if you're not really good at cooking fish or don't have a lot of skill in that department, it's really forgiving. So it won't dry out as quickly as something like a ling cod, let's say. Okay, we will need just a touch of oil in our frying pan. So I would say maybe a tablespoon worth. We're going with vegetable oil, not olive oil, as always. Olive oil will burn at high heat, and you don't want that bitter taste in there. So we're just waiting for that to heat up, pretty much. But I think we're there soon. So I'm gonna get my serving device out. Nice little bowl. It's almost time for food, my friends. Bowl and a fork, good to go. Okay, pan looks like it's nice and hot, so let's go over to the stove. So the oil is just kind of starting to shimmer. I don't think you can quite see that in the camera, but what I mean by that is it just kind of looks wavy on the top compared to when you first pour the oil in the pan, nothing's happening, right? It just kind of spreads out. But when your oil starts to look wavy like that, that means it's at the perfect temp. And we don't necessarily want to get it smoking, per se. That might be a little too hot. Oh, it radiates. Thank you. Yeah, duck eggs Benedict. It's a little bit fancy, but I feel pretty blessed to live somewhere that I can get duck eggs year round for a nice cheap cost. So to me, it just makes sense. But by all means, chicken egg Benedict, just as good. Scaramouche, how are ya? Welcome in. Okay, we're dropping in our fish, and I am going flesh side down to start, so presentation side down, and then we'll flip it and finish it on the skin side. And we should hear a nice little sizzle when we drop this in the pan. Like that, and then we'll cook this little piece right now as well. I might put a touch of butter in there. I think I want to, just to kind of finish it off. But we'll put the butter in when we flip it. Yeah, are you giving away the black cod? Sadly, no, Scaramouche. That's a little bit out of my budget. So literally just a little bit of butter. Not even a tablespoon. You're very sad. No! Flip that little piece. Okay, our temp on the stove looks like it's perfect. It's not browning too quickly. So that's another thing that you kind of have to keep in mind is you don't want your pan too hot that the fish is going to burn before it's fully cooked through. Yeah, what a weird feeling. You're looking at the fish cooking, but smelling the chicken that you're roasting in the oven. So here's our little kind of tester piece I just took out. That's definitely going to cook quicker than that entire piece of filet. Your brain is super confused. I believe it. Misleading. Okay, I'm going to flip this because it looks really nice and golden. Look at that color, guys. That's what we want. And I don't know if you saw when I flipped this, is it immediately kind of seized up in the pan. So now, I'm going to drop our butter in. Turn down the heat just a touch. And this is where we're going to start to baste. Basty baste. Is we're going to start to spoon that butter over the fish. Woo-hoo, that looks good, hey guys? I think maybe a minute more, and then we're laughing. Wow. Just going by the feel of it, I think we're done. And by the time we let this rest and dig into it, the residual heat that's in there is going to continue cooking it. Look at that. So that's how fast fish cooks. So usually around 4 minutes. For this type of fish. So 2 minutes aside with a little bit of basting in between there is you will get mouth-watering fish. Yes, Vune, you are still here. I knew it. It looks good, hey? Just going by the feel of it, it feels nice and firm. So while this is resting, why don't we get in here and pull out those pin bones that I couldn't do earlier, which I believe was right along this line. Ooh, even then, seems like they don't want to come out. I'll let it rest a couple more times, but look at them. You can literally see the bones sticking out of the flesh. But definitely don't want to keep those in there. Someone can easily choke. So, got one out. And it's just this type of fish where it's hard to pull the bones out when it's raw, so you have to do it when it's cooked. If you try and do it when it's raw, we did 2, and it literally just kind of started to pull the flesh out of the fish fillet. But you can see here, as I pull the bones out, the fillet is starting to separate anyways. You smelled trolls, so you stayed. Yeah, we had one. No one gave him anything to work with, though. Okay, 2 left. There we go. And then all we have to do is take the skin off. If you were cooking for yourself, you wouldn't be patient enough to debone the fish. Yeah, but you don't want to choke on it. That's always the scary part, is if I leave the bones in, I might just choke on it. So let's put this aside. Plate up our pasta salad. Yeah, exactly. It's like you can see how it just kind of pulls apart where the bones were anyways. And a lot of times when restaurants are portioning fish is they'll just cut along that line of bones and literally just cut it out. And that way you'll have a skinnier piece of fish, but at least you won't have to fool around with taking the bones out with tweezers. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to eat this. I haven't had black cod in years, I think. So let's start spooning our Greek salad into our dish. Get a nice little medley of everything. Tomato over there. You haven't had Chilean sea bass in years. Yeah. Well, honestly, it's just too expensive for me to even justify buying and eating. It's kind of sad, actually. Now we can get our olives. Get that olive fixed. So Kalamata olives are the Greek olives. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I love olives, so I'm going to put a good amount in there. And now, I'm scared that when I take the skin off of the fish, it's going to start to fall apart. Are they still endangered? Probably. But I will try this little piece of the belly that I cooked up. So like if you look at the under piece of the belly, that is completely fat that is lining the underside. So that's why we keep the skin on, is it keeps it really nice and moist. Moist. And you flip it over, this lovely little piece. Mmm. So this fish, one of those types of fish that just melts in your mouth. There's not a lot of chewing involved, for sure. But let me see if I can get the skin off of this. So if you cooked your fish perfectly, the skin should just peel off like this without tearing the fillet apart. Hey, Pizza Blob, welcome in. How are ya? It is not smoked. We just marinated it with a little bit of chili flake and chili garlic oil. It's freaking good. Why does the skin... Oh, does the skin taste bad? Nah. I'm just not a huge fan of, like, slimy fish skin. Even though that's supposed to be like one of the healthiest parts for you. I'm just one of those people that can't eat it. I don't know why. It looks good, hey? It's so delicate though, you guys can see that, hey? It's like for people in restaurants to cook this is kind of stressful. Because you don't want to present a fillet that's just completely falling apart. Especially when it costs $70 a kilo. Yeah, I do like crispy salmon skin. I don't know. You can give it a taste for you. I'm not super scared. It does taste pretty fishy. I will say that. But it's nice. I mean, it should take on the flavor of if you marinated the fish. Hello, the Princess Unicorn. Thank you for the follow. How are you doing today? Okay, here is our wonderful Greek pasta salad with pan-seared black cod. Oh, probably scaramouche. Just batter it with a little cornstarch. So I think if you changed the texture of it, so if it wasn't slimy, it would be good. And it would be a good garnish. It's fact, Vian. You can eat anything if you deep fry it. Okay, I'm just gonna get a quick little photo before we taste this. I think I want to go this way. You're excited for the ramen stream. Oh, me too. Ramen is one of my favorite things to eat. Straight up. Is I actually get cravings for ramen. And that doesn't happen very often with food. The lighting in here, shockingly good right now. Should always stream at this time of day. Okay, the moment we've been waiting for. The taste test. You saw someone eat deep fried Mars bar the other day. You've never had it, View? Oof. Goodness. They have it at the carnivals all the time here. It's actually quite good. Okay. So let's get into this. Literally just flake off the fish. But if we look at it, like the color, it's got that sheen. So you know it's not dry. A lot of white fish like this, when it starts to flake like that, it's like way past being overcooked. Let's give this a try. So I think it's really smart to get that kind of crisp exterior on this type of fish in particular. Because like I said, the rest of the flesh basically just melts in your mouth like butter. So you need that little bit of textural contrast. Thanks, Vioon. Are you heading out now? I should be safe. I got this. I'm not scared. My knives look crazy in the back. Thank you. They're actually part of my security system. Okay, let's go in for another bite. So, not really any spice from the chili. And that's actually exactly what I wanted. And that's also why I used the particular chili flake that I did, is it's more floral. So it's not going to overpower it so that you can't taste anything. And then the 1 clove of garlic that we put on this filet, also not overpowering. So you just get this like nice kind of roasty toasty flavor happening. But you're going to KonMari your clothes. Sounds good. You have a wonderful day. Take care, guys. Thank you to my wonderful mods for always being here with me. It means a lot. Okay, so now, oh, just the contrast of the color of that fish, hey? Between the seared and the inside. Let's get a little bit with our pasta salad and see how this combines. Because I did have a viewer say, well, isn't the chili garlic fish more Asian than Greek? So let's see how this actually pairs up together. Really, really well. Wow. There is no fishy flavor on this fish at all. And even the anchovies that we put in the dressing, still not really coming through as a powerful flavor. I like the creamy little bites of feta in between eating the fish. Because it's like creamy and salty. So it's like just a nicely seasoned bite. Okay, let's contrast with some olive and cucumber. The crunch is everything, I think. Ugh. Why is this so good, guys? I wish I could share it with you. Is feta expensive in Canada? I don't think so. I believe the big container that I had maybe costs $12 in Canada. Okay, this is so yummy, guys. Greek salad is like one of my favorite things to eat. And I don't think I can ever get sick of it. Especially when you make your dressing yourself. Mmm. And like the salty, earthy taste from the olives. Whoa. It's too much, guys. Thanks for the follow, Red Fox. Let me see this follower count. Where are we at these days? I know we're getting up there. 1324. Whew. Yeah, if it's not too much, I'll just gladly take that off your hands. I don't know, Scaramouche. I think I should keep eating this so I don't starve the rest of the day. I would love to share, though. Sharing is caring. I'm just gonna put a couple of things away. I'm gonna actually probably devour this on stream with you guys right now. And then we get to move into a little bit of vinegar playing around. And we'll have a little intro of our vinegar making from the Noma Guide to Fermentation. So I'll do a little bit of reading out of the book today with you guys. You need the roasted lamb leg I made. That was really freaking good, I have to say. Like, that lamb that they raise out here, the best lamb I've ever tasted in my life. Because it doesn't taste like lamb. Yeah, there is a big difference between black cod versus regular cod. Black cod, really fatty, but obviously it's easier to cook, and it's also at least double the price of ling cod. And I'm really not sure why it's like that. I'd have to do a little bit of research to find out why it's so expensive. But ling cod you could almost find anywhere nowadays. But then the other thing about ling cod is sometimes when we get ling cod is it's more of a bottom feeder. So you can find like worms and parasites in the flesh. And that kind of scares people, I think. Okay, that's put away. I'll put our pasta salad away so that doesn't sit out anymore. You didn't know that, Princess Unicorn. Yeah, not black cod, ling cod and halibut, the other pretty expensive fish, usually can have worms in them. Because they are bottom feeders. And it's usually right in around the belly area. So if the fish is fresh, the worms will just be confined to basically one small area of the fish. If the fish is not fresh, when the fish is killed, the worms are going to want to go farther in to the flesh, so they will kind of move through from the belly. That's how you can kind of tell that your fish isn't super fresh. do catfish. I would assume so, Scaramouche. Yeah, the Asian style miso black cod. What restaurant is that from? Nubo? I think it's called Nubo. I did that as well, Scaramouche. And I tried it with regular cod as well. Totally not the same, hey? It's just not as buttery. It dries out quicker. But that's also why ling cod is really good for fish and chips. Because when you deep fry it, you put more fat into it. The worms should be taken out though, Princess. By the time that you get the fish fillet, there shouldn't be any worms left in there. Ooh, finding more bones still. Sneaky bones. Flake apart. What about mahi mahi? That one I'm not super familiar with. That's not really a fish that we get up here. They have halibut sushi where you're at, Indog? That is something I've never heard about. I would think that halibut sushi would taste almost like too muddy to serve raw, but I could be wrong. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for the love. How's it going today? Okay, I'm gonna try and find, I think I already have the spot marked for vinegars. Oh no, this one's pretty long actually. That's fine. You guys like narrating, right? Little story time with Kate. So, in this little piece of fish, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bones that we took out of there. So you really have to be aware that you don't choke on that. It can be dangerous for sure. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I eat the fish out of here for sure. And probably most of this salad. Get my energy for the day and then we'll move on. Maybe I'll only eat half. Halibut's fairly easy to get there in sushi. I've not seen that anywhere here in any sushi places, which is crazy to me. You've always been curious, but you were wondering what getting certified as a chef is like. So I did a 2-year program when I was 19. So I finished when I was 21. But I did cook in a restaurant previously, so I started cooking in a restaurant literally randomly. It's like I went to university for a semester, did not enjoy any of the classes I was taking. So I was like, well, instead of wasting my time and money, I'm just going to take a little break, kind of figure out what I want to do. And so I started a job at a restaurant. And then 6 months later, I got accepted into a culinary program where I grew up, passed it with honors, and I've been cooking ever since. So when I finished my culinary program, I wrote a provincial test which certified me as a blue seal, or like a certified tradesperson in the trade. And for me to be a red seal, to be considered like a certified chef all over the world instead of just Canada, I have to take another test. But the fact of the matter is most chefs these days don't even have a school education for cooking. They're just basically self-taught or have put in enough time in kitchens to be certified. So for me to do the red seal basically would just waste my time and money, because I don't really plan on going overseas and cooking. So I don't feel it's necessary, and it's definitely not necessary anymore to get a high-end job. But I have to say, going to culinary school was like my favorite time in my life. It was so much fun. And then the one thing that a lot of people mistake about culinary school is that culinary school is like working in a kitchen, where it totally is not. You get taught the basic skills and techniques and about ingredients of cooking in school, but you don't get taught about how to work in a kitchen and cook food as fast as possible, having it the best possible quality at the same time. So I would say in my class of about, let's say 50 people was my year of culinary, of graduating, maybe a handful of us are still in the industry. But you don't have to go to culinary school to be a chef. You can also just go to culinary school to learn a lot more about cooking if that's something you enjoy. So there are kind of two sides to that. Like, I know some people after culinary school, they started a food blog, and that's all they do now. So there is a lot of different routes you can go in the food industry, which is my favorite part about it. And that's why I started streaming on Twitch. Is just branch out a little bit more and be able to share creativity. You look like a clapping seal when you laugh too hard. Love to get an upgrade. Yes, Mian. Do I think I would go in the cooking profession now if I got another chance? I would say yeah, mama. Like, this is something that I really love, but I didn't even know that I loved it until I started doing it. The only thing that I don't love is that it is the lowest paid trade in the world. So to be able to get like fully recognized for all the hard work you put in is hard. But I can definitely say the restaurant I work at now is by far the best job I've ever had. And all of the tips, which is where we make most of our money from as cooks, are split evenly within every one of the restaurant, where that doesn't usually happen in a lot of restaurants. I've worked at restaurants that give most of the tips to the servers, and then you're working your butt off in the kitchen and you don't really get anything to show for it, because cooks do not make a lot of money. Like, you will not get rich. If you want to be a chef, then definitely you're not going to get rich, especially owning your own restaurant. So this is definitely a job that you have to love every single day. Because if you don't, then it's definitely going to show in your food. Like, there is something to be said about cooking with love. Your food will taste different if you don't love it. Scaramouche, salute! Gotta get the chicken out of the oven. I've made you too hungry. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow. Ah, Mama, So, is your son a chef or a cook? Whoa, Vune. What's happening? Speaking of food writer, how's my book coming? It's okay. I mean, it basically has to be me sitting down and really just focusing on what I want my book to be. So, like a day like today where I'm alone at home is going to be perfect. So, probably going to do a little bit of writing. But so far, still just kind of working on the intro of the cookbook, which to me is actually the hardest part. Because I have all the recipes done that I want to put in the book. It's just making the intro how I want to see the book kind of come out. He was a chef. Yeah, never trust a skinny chef. He was a chef in the Navy. So that's what Sammy was gonna do. But now he just cooks not in the Navy. Thank you for the follow, Eping2323. Pretend I'm streaming to a new audience, explaining what you do and write that down. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, like a cookbook, you have to be really focused on what you want your end result of the book to be. So the intro is like the most important, is like an introduction of what is going to be worked on in the book. So I just want to make sure that I word it right and kind of see the full thing through before I really commit to it. But at the same time, like, I always worry about making stuff perfect, and that's also what holds people back. Is like, is anything really perfect? It's only perfect in your own mind and how you want to see it. But that can hold people back by being scared that it's not perfect, and then they don't actually follow through with it. So maybe I should just roll with it and then edit it from there. And then I was actually looking at some publishers as well. This last week, actually. And there are some publishers that will consider you and your book, even if you don't have an agent. So that's what I'm going to be working towards. But that also means when I go to the publisher, I need to have my shit together and know exactly what I'm pitching to them and know exactly what my book's going to be. You have to be very confident in your ideas if you want other people to invest in them. But that's also the same thing with streaming. So, like, I'm sure none of you guys would be here if I was not a good cook. He was there cooking for 8 years, but he said it wasn't chefing, it was cooking they were doing and hated it. Yeah. So that's what a lot of people as well get mistaken is when you're a cook or a chef, you're stuck to cooking the menu that's being created. So like usually the head chef creates the menu and then the cooks are brought in to cook that menu the way that the chef has thought about it. So for me, this is where I can showcase my creativity. At work, yes, I get to use my skills and knowledge, but it's not me creating the dishes that I want to make. So this is why Twitch is perfect for me. Yes, my drops. Yeah, even being a food critic, that'd be so much fun. I would love to do that. But like being a food critic is, you're just expressing your own opinion of that dish. Like everyone has a different palate and things they do and do not like in their food. So you really have to take those food reviews with a grain of salt, because the way that someone perceives a dish may not be the same way that you perceive it when you eat it. So you really have to be open-minded when you read the food reviews. Nike. You've got a brilliant personality. My boss is watching. That's fine. I'm sure he would agree with this. Okay, couple more pieces of fish. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge for later. He was the head chef eventually, but they don't have the funds to chef. I think it was £2 per day each person for the 3 meals. Okay, that is like way worse wage than what we get paid here. That is like slavery. £2 per day for the 3 meals. What? Okay, ciao Vune. Take care. You get to Betty. We'll be okay here. Blue. So Sammy got called into work for the next couple days, so he won't be streaming with us. One of the guys at work quit, so he has to cover some shifts. The worst. So not only do you guys not get to see him, but I also don't get to see him. Okay. To feed each person, not his wages. That's pretty cheap then. Okay, one more tomato feta bite. Yum. Did pretty good though. Okay guys, we're just gonna take a quick bathroom break and then we're gonna come back and get into this vinegar. I'll be okay if I don't see Sammy. I don't know if you guys are gonna be okay though. It's true. He has become one with the stream. Okie dokes. We have been fed. We have been watered. Now we can carry on. So, today, in the experimentation, Meyer lemon vinegar. Interesting stuff. So this has been in a salt brine. So we sliced the lemons, weighed them, put them in a 1% brine of salt. So what that means is the total weight of the lemon slices, you take 1% of that weight, weigh it out in salt, and then you mix the salt with an equal weight of water to the total lemon weight. This is something that is actually pretty new to me. Excuse me, I don't know if you heard that burp. But I know the math seems kind of weird and wonky as far as brining goes. And that was the instruction I was given from my fellow sous chef, whom I work with every day at work. So he said, put the lemons in a 1% salt brine for like minimum a week and let them ferment. And And it definitely looks like they were fermenting because there's a little bit of mold on the top here, which is okay in my mind. So those have just been sitting out since then. And I believe the next step is that we strain out the lemon from the liquid, take our liquid, and then I was told to take the vinegar mother. If you guys have ever bought apple cider vinegar, that's not filtered, so it's gonna have the mother in it. And the vinegar mother is what actually sours the vinegar and preserves it. And you can actually take this vinegar from the mother from whatever type of vinegar you have on hand. So I have an apple cider vinegar that has a mother in it, and you can actually transfer it over to make the lemon vinegar, and it's not going to change the flavor at all. At least that's what I was told. So before we get into that, I'm gonna just read up a little bit on what vinegar is and maybe some history. And this is from Noma Guide to Fermentation, one of the newer books that I have gotten over the years. So a little bit of narration going down right now. You guys ready? So, first kind of chapter, what it says here is it says vinegar improves practically everything. Throughout Europe and probably the entire Western world, adding a splash of vinegar is the prevailing method of injecting a bit of freshness into whatever you're cooking. So, what did we put vinegar or acid in today? We used it in our salad dressing. That added a little bit of brightness and freshness to our pasta salad. I don't think it would taste the same without that, for sure. The next time you have some store-bought orange marmalade, add a little bit of vinegar and a pinch of salt to make it instantly more vibrant. Anyone in here eat marmalade? I'm not a huge marmalade fan, but maybe we should test that out. If you're making your own ice cream, depending on the type you're making, a little fruity vinegar will give it an unexpected edge. Interesting. And very few cooked vegetables or fruits aren't improved with a hit of vinegar. When Noma first opened, vinegar was more or less the only tool we could depend on to instill our food with acidity. We'd pair the likes of, say, beets and apples and find that they needed a bridge, so something to bring both of those flavors together. Something fruity with acidity to link the earthiness and sweetness of the two main ingredients. Aged apple vinegars were often up to the task. So I have one here that I made in October of 2018. So what I did was I took the apples from the tree in the fall, blended them up, juiced them, and then used the mother from this vinegar. So organic apple cider vinegar will always have the vinegar mother in it. So you can take that little bit of vinegar left in here and make your own. So that's exactly what I did since October. So it's just kind of starting to get sour. And vinegar will take up to 1 year to get to full acidity if you're making it at home. And so there is a mother that's floating in here, and that can actually take over your vinegar. So a quicker way to get your vinegar to get more acidic is to actually break up that mother every now and then, because that will give it more surface area to sour. Okay, carrying on. So before we really found our way with lacto fermentation, most of the pickling we did at Noma was with vinegar. So pickling is the easiest kind of way to preserve fruits and vegetables. But whenever you use vinegar, it's the opposite of fermentation. So pickles is the opposite of a sauerkraut, let's say. So vinegar cannot be used in fermentation. Vinegar will stop any bacteria from forming. But pickling is also the easiest way to preserve something. So if you want to get into fermentation a little bit, start with pickling. I have done a ton of pickles. You can do quick pickles, which you just put in the fridge afterwards. But you can also do like properly canned pickles that will be shelf stable and able to sit out at room temp. You can also do the same thing with fermentation, but there's always more risk if you don't use vinegar. So obviously fermentation, you're relying on the wild yeast from the air to preserve something. So sometimes you'll get bad bacteria in there and you'll have to throw a batch of something out. So there's always that risk. And that's called lactofermentation. So that uses lactobacillus yeast to preserve something. So here in Scandinavia, he says, if you guys didn't know, the restaurant Noma is located in Copenhagen. Vinegar pickles are everywhere, likely because they're so simple to make. Combine 1 part water, 1 part vinegar, and a little bit of salt and sugar. Add your fruits or vegetables and let them sit. So that's literally it. And then you don't have to be worried about it going bad on you. So vinegar is a very safe thing to use in this instance. Vinegar pickling plays less of a role at Noma now, but we still do a little bit of it with ingredients like shoots, mushrooms, and seasonal flowers. I've never pickled flowers before. That is something new to me, guys. Potent blooms like elderflower, rose petals, coltsfoot, chamomile, or dandelion flowers even, are left to mature in apple cider vinegar for at least a few weeks in the fridge. So literally all you do is put the flowers into the vinegar. That's easy. Saltwater brine pickles, right? Pizza Blob, they're so good. So good. You really want to try pickled watermelon rinds. I've done that before, and I actually still have a jar of them in the fridge. I believe I followed Alton Brown's recipe, Pizza Blob. And it's like sweet and spicy. Really freaking good, I have to say. They're so nice and crunchy. You do a lavender vinegar, yeah. Lavender vinegar sounds amazing, Nikki. And actually, we have an elderflower vinegar at work. I wasn't working there yet when it was made, but we serve the elderflower vinegar on our oysters. So you get that nice kind of floral flavor in there. Okay, so as a happy side effect, the vinegar takes on the flower's hue, so it takes on the color of the flower and the fragrance, and can be used to bring tartness to both sweet and savory dishes long after the pickles themselves are gone. So you can use both the pickled flower and the vinegar left over from the pickled flowers. The same method can be applied to nice effect with fresh fruits. Many of the fruit vinegars you find at grocery stores are produced by soaking fruit in neutral flavored vinegars. Balanced acidity is crucial to any meal, which is why we've always found vinegar to be such a powerful ingredient. The word vinegar comes from the Latin vinum acer, literally meaning sour wine. But of course, that only scratches the surface of what vinegars can be. There are aged vinegars, like balsamic vinegar, that have texture and sweetness. So I always find that balsamic vinegar is like very heavy and almost syrupy on the palate. And it's nice and sweet as well, compared to, let's say, this apple cider vinegar. GMT! BC hype! Hey! Fist bump, man. Welcome in. We love those fellow Canadians in here. So there are also very strong vinegars that cut through anything with their acidity. And then the other side of the spectrum, there are vinegars with very little acidity. So let's say when I first mixed this up with the fresh, unpasteurized apple juice and the mother, that would have a very, very low acidity to begin with. And then as the time goes on, that acidity builds and builds. So it's also interesting to see how that flavor develops over time. So it's always good to kind of taste your vinegar as the time goes on. Because there will be a point where I will say, yeah, that tastes exactly like the apple cider I've had in the store. But at this point in time, not quite there yet. Woo! What's going on? The Wheeze! Rating with the party of 3. Welcome in, guys. Frou Zombie. How's the day? How's the stream? Yeah, GMT, apple cider for the win, as well as rice vinegar. I have a lot of different types of vinegar that I like to use. They all kind of have their special use, for sure. The Wheeze. So I just finished making and eating lunch. If you want, you can look at my leftovers. Sad times, but we did make a Greek orzo pasta salad, and I cooked up some lovely black cod to go with it. Here, I'll show you the photo that I took of it. So that's what I just ate before this. And now we're doing a little bit of reading from a new cookbook, The Noma Guide to Fermentation, because we're playing around with vinegars. So I have this Meyer lemon vinegar that I made on the 23rd, and we need to take it a little bit further and really make it into the vinegar that we want. So we're learning a little bit today, because this is kind of new for me, but I love to play around with different stuff on stream. And the science aspect of cooking is really interesting to me. Sometimes you like to drink iced water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it. Yes. And vinegars can also help you with digestion. So a lot of people actually drink apple cider vinegar in the morning with like a little bit of ginger in there, maybe some honey and cinnamon. And it's supposed to really kickstart your digestion for the day. Never done it, so I can't really say anything on that matter. It sounds fire. You know what? It was really satisfying. I only got about halfway through and I'm pretty full now, but I'll finish it after stream. How was your stream today? This main cam is actually not the new one. This is just the C922 from Logitech. We're still waiting for that cam to be switched over to a new one, but both the cutting board cam and the stove cam have been updated. So you'll find dozens of varieties of vinegar in a well-equipped supermarket or grocery store. So even if you don't choose to make your own vinegar, there's no reason that you can't begin experimenting with the different applications we suggest in the chapter. If you're ready to go further down the rabbit hole, read on. All right, let's do this. Stream was good. You made an omelet. Discovered your sour cream was extremely expired. Oh no. Even though when sour cream is expired, it doesn't really smell that bad. Or maybe I just haven't gotten it extremely expired before. But usually there's just like some mold in there, but it still just smells like sour cream. Then you all watch some World Star Hip Hop. Sounds fun. Nice little chill day then. So vinegar is a kitchen pillar that is so ubiquitous and familiar that many people don't think of it as a product of fermentation. There were literal cities of mold. Epic! I got a little city of mold in here. A little bit of mold in my vinegar happening, but apparently that's allowed. So vinegar is made by the fermentation of alcohol into acetic acid by a large family of obligate aerobic bacteria, so which means bacteria that needs air to function, which is why I had this with cheesecloth instead of just putting the jar lid on. So we needed the air to be able to get this to ferment properly. And then there's always that risk. So with this having the little bit of mold on there, that means something got into here that the rest of this mixture did not like. And it was like, I don't like you, get out of here. But that is the risk that you have to be willing to take with fermentation. Thanks for the follow, Louise. So the acetic acid bacteria encompass a wide array of species. They are omnipresent, which means they're pretty much everywhere, and they're airborne. They're found on surfaces of most living things, including me and you. So I don't know if you guys have ever had kombucha before. And a lot of people that I know that have drank kombucha, or at least just tried it once, are like, yeah, it's too sour for me to be able to drink. Whereas like, I love the acidic flavor of kombucha. Rolo, not you. So as with kombucha, vinegar is a product of the collaboration between yeast and bacteria. So that's what vinegar is. First, the yeast converts the sugar to alcohol, and then your aerobic bacteria convert the alcohol to your acetic acid. The difference is that vinegar makers will often select yeasts with a certain maximum threshold for alcohol, meaning that the yeast will die off before it's had the chance to consume all the sugars in the base liquid. Okay, why? Okay, otherwise, many yeasts aren't adapted to survive acetic acid and will end up dying once the bacteria takes over. Okay, that makes sense. So either way, it's gonna die. So this is the difference that comes in with kombucha. So kombucha is gonna continually grow more and more acidic until all the available sugar has been converted to alcohol and acid. And then the vinegar will plateau at a certain acidity, and that will be it. Makes sense? Kombucha is disgusting. You can make it yourself, and I think that's where you can really control the amount of acidity. So it doesn't have to be overly sour like I've had a lot of times. You've tried kombucha. The ones you've tried kind of smell like sour yogurt. Yeah. I don't know, but that's another thing that's really good for your digestion. What about shrubs? What's that, Rolo? I don't think I know what that is. So the earliest vinegars were derived from products that had already been fermented into alcohol. So basically, if you leave a bottle of wine out on the counter, it will eventually turn into vinegar. Obviously, you need to let the air get into your wine, but you can do this with red wine vinegar, which we use today to make our Greek salad dressing. You can do it with white wine and make white wine vinegar. So eventually, the bacteria will take over the alcohol and convert it. So that is like the most basic way to make vinegar. And my guess is that's exactly what happened way back when. Drinking vinegar, they use them in sodas and cocktails. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. Because like we said earlier, as we were reading, is vinegar can be used to kind of balance out those sweet and bitter flavors of stuff. So before the advent of microbiology, the reasons alcohol would sour into vinegar were a mystery. As surely as the sun would rise and set, so too would wine become vinegar if it was left in the open air. The cause was anyone's guess. So imagine living back then and like having your wine and no fridge, and then eventually your wine turns sour and you don't want to drink it anymore. And you're like, I don't know why this happens. So that's not to say that people were unfamiliar with the process of fermentation, because people have been making alcohol from fruit for the entire duration of human civilization. In Iran, shards of urns, so something to hold a liquid in, dating back to 6000 BCE, were excavated from a kitchen in the Zagros Mountains, and they had yellowish red stains from wine on them. So making alcohol and vinegar is a very old process, even though they might have not known why the process was happening, they still did it. So thousands of years later, the ancient Egyptians were producing alcoholic grape beverages of their own. (6,000 BC). Yeah, crazy, right? Okay. So going ahead a little bit farther towards where we are living at currently. So eventually, the process of making vinegar spread to Europe and also led to advancements in vinegar production that exploited the idea of oxidation. So the vinegar makers were able to speed up the process because, like I said, it takes about a year to make a vinegar the proper acidity. They sped up the process by increasing the surface area of the wine. So if you let your alcohol have more surface area for the airborne bacteria to get into, obviously it's going to turn a lot faster. So something like this in this bottle, not a ton of surface area. So if I put this into like a nice rectangular pan and let it sit that way, it would sour faster. So German vinegar makers developed the quick process to drip wine through loosely packed wood chips while simultaneously blowing the liquid with fresh air. Hundreds of years later, artisans still actually use this method. So it says, we take advantage of the same idea in our own way at Noma, using a common air pump, the kind you'll find in the aquarium section of any pet store. So they pump the air through their would-be vinegar, or let's call it alcohol, providing more bacteria with the oxygen they need to work quickly. So by treating our bacteria as if they were pet goldfish, we can cut our fermentation time from a few months or a year to a couple of weeks. Sorry guys, I don't have a fish pump on hand to expedite my vinegar making process. Okay, I'm not going to keep reading because there's like 6 more pages for us. Just want to see if there's like just any basic notes. Okay, we're just going to carry on with the process that I've been told. But this book is really good, guys. So it does give you pretty much the full process of the stuff that you will need to make the vinegar. And this recipe here is for pear vinegar. This is the Noma book on fermentation. Yeah, it is so crazy to think how long humans have been here. So much stuff has changed. Like, even when I was visiting my grandma over Christmas break, is the stuff that she has seen and change in her lifetime, like she just turned 85. It's insane. So like to her, technology is amazing still. And I'm sure it always will be. Hey, Cookery, welcome. How are you doing? Fermentation is the bomb. It's really fun. I have to say, I've kind of fallen in love with it. So we need a couple things to get started here. Yeah, it might actually be longer than that. That's true, Indog. You've secretly lusted in your heart for that, but don't really have a need. It's always good to educate yourself. I mean, I didn't really know if I would use it, but I think I will actually end up using it. Your chat is weird. Try refreshing. Okay, so I'm gonna just wash up quickly this strainer that I used for the pasta earlier. Because we need something really fine. We don't really want any particles in our vinegar now. And we also want to make sure that all of our tools that we're using are really, really clean. So we only want kind of the good bacteria that's floating around in the air. We don't want any extra bacteria from food to be present. Okay, we're all cleaned up. I'm gonna grab a bowl for us. Or should we use a yellow bowl because we're making lemon vinegar? Maybe we'll roll with that. Colors and things. It's okay now. I am doing well, Cookery. Just kind of enjoying my day off. Just had some lunch. Teaching you guys some stuff. How are you doing? How is your back? So, going in here. So as we can see, there is a touch of mold there. But the way that the mold works on the vinegar is it's just gonna stay together on the top. It's not actually gonna mix into your fermented liquid. So all you have to do is literally scoop that out. But the only thing is it can come back. So just be aware of that. And that's obviously the risk that you have to take. But eventually, the bacteria and the yeast should take over again and keep it nice and clean. And then as you ferment, you also want to be sure that your fruit doesn't rise above the liquid in the jar. So that might actually be what happened. As I might have just left it too long to ferment. We'll see though. So there's our one jar. The lemons aren't moldy, so that's a good sign. Let's Eat France is a fantastic book. I don't know if I have that one. I have quite a few French cookbooks though. And I really want to start getting more into cookbook cookery. The back is meh. The doggo is healing nicely though. Oh yeah, doggo hurt itself. Oh. Well, I'm glad doggo is doing okay. Am I making preserved lemons? I am not. But I did make those on stream before and we used them yesterday. Ooh. So I did a preserved lemon hollandaise. And this is me kind of getting out of my comfort zone and trying to make a Meyer lemon vinegar. Because I think that would taste just lovely. So this jar, the lemons are a lot more soft, which kind of scares me, but we're just gonna keep rolling with this. And we might actually have to pass the mixture twice. Maybe with some cheesecloth could be good. But I'm not gonna press this down too much. So now we have this like lemonade looking stuff. It smells like lemon, so that's a good sign. Hopefully if I give this a taste, I won't die overnight. But I'm really curious. A little drop shouldn't hurt. It's not sweet at all. Tastes like a mellow kind of lemon flavor. I don't know how I feel about that. But we're gonna carry on. If I have to end up throwing it out, I throw it out. But at least we can learn from what happened. So now, I was instructed to take the mother that I have made inside my apple cider vinegar, take it out, or at least a little bit out, and put it into here to help the souring process. And tweezers would probably be good for this. I'll see if I can scoop a little bit out with this spatula. Oof. Or I guess we can just pour a little bit of this into there. Ugh. I don't know if I'll get that out. Oh. We got it! Okay, that was really hard, but look at this. Ugh. So the vinegar mother is really gross looking, guys. It's like this slimy little thing that is just gonna keep growing. And then we wanna break that up. I know, right? It's like, what the hell is that even? But you can see how it's taken on the original color from the apples. Is because we juiced the apples with the skin on, and the skin was a little bit red or pink, so the mother actually takes on that color. And so this is supposed to basically expedite the souring process of the vinegar. So now, I think I'm just gonna go grab a wide mouth mason jar and pour this mixture into there. And now I think we wait. And we're gonna leave the top of the jar open still because we still want the air to get into here. If we close it up, that means there's gonna be no air to actually further ferment our vinegar and make it sour. So we always need to have a little bit of cheesecloth on top. Yeah, oh my, that's for sure. So I'm just gonna go quickly grab a jar, guys. Hold tight, and then we'll finish this off. So, nice clean jar. What? Cookery with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. Although you've always been a part of the Onion Squad. Thank you for the support, though. That means a lot. And you guys, if you're not familiar with Cookery Nation, she is a fellow Canadian and also a food streamer as well on Twitch. And she's actually been streaming longer than I have. So, certified vet over here. We'll give her a little shout out. Please feel free to go give her a follow and check in on one of her streams. She also has started writing a newsletter for us Twitch streamers and viewers. And she has just released issue number 3. And it is basically a ton of recipes from fellow food streamers. There's a little Q&A section, which she featured me in this month on the newsletter. And there's also like nice puzzles and games. And in this issue, she dove a little bit deeper into cooking with the Instant Pot. So if you guys have one of those, check out that newsletter. Yeah, she's awesome. She had to pull back a little bit from streaming though in the last little bit because she has a back that's bugging her, sadly. And we do miss her dearly. Okay, so there is already bubbles forming. If you guys can see that on the mother, do you see those couple little bubbles already puffing up in our kind of fermented lemon juice liquid? Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe it's gonna explode. Who knows? So let's take our cheesecloth that we had before. Yeah, it's alive. Exactly. So I'm guessing that's a good sign. Time will tell. We'll check up on it next week and see what's going on. So obviously you want to cover it with cheesecloth just in case you live somewhere that has like fruit flies flying around. Luckily right now we don't, but summertime is really bad here for fruit flies. So just keep it covered with something that air can still get into. So there's that. A little bit of Meyer lemon vinegar. It's happening. Okay, guys. What a wonderful day. We actually got quite a bit accomplished. Feeling good. I'm just taking a look at Belly here because I'm going to send you guys off to another awesome stream. And I think we might go into Chew and Brew. He has a choose your own adventure stream. He doesn't know what to cook and he wants us to help. So he just started streaming a couple months ago. And I really love to support the small streamers because I've been there. I know the struggle. So let's go into Chew and Brew, show him some love. Thanks, Cookery. Yeah, I'm glad to see you on here as well. I know I don't catch you that often, so it's great to see you. Yeah, we love Cookery here. It's true. Chew and Brew. Okay, going in. Thank you for the subs today. Thank you for the biddies as well, and the raids and hosts. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will be back tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit of a later stream since I'm making dinner. We are making duck ramen tomorrow, guys. It's going to be epic. Something I've never actually had before, and ramen is one of my true loves, along with Sammy and you guys. So stay tuned for that. We're going in. Get your onions ready. Hey guys, have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow. And the schedule is posted on my channel page. So check into there.